Introverted man. Pascal's wager has been a long trotted out argument of sorts by various theists over time. Blaise Pascal invented this thing back in the 17th century, and it's been annoying ever since. And you might have seen some different charts online like these things, and it shows these four little squares, and it's always these just little four little squares. It's just like it's always that. Every time you see it, every single time, just about, it's four squares. Uh, here's a. Oh well, woo, fun. Damn. That's funny. This is interesting. This is from Ray Comfort. This is called different nonsense. Okay, whatever. Anyway, so yeah. So this is the Pascal's wager, pretty much. And yeah, there you go. It's four squares. But that's not actually what the wager is. Because the belief in God isn't tying in an important element that is implied by each of the boxes. That is, that your belief in God or your non-belief of God leads you to somewhere after death. So if you do believe, you go to heaven. If you don't, you go to hell. And if it doesn't exist, it doesn't really matter. Either way. So the idea, of course, then is, well, bet on existence after life, and that's a safer bet to make because it's 3 versus 1. 3 negative outcomes, only 1 positive outcome with this particular version, at any rate. But it requires for God to exist and for God to care about whether you believe or not, and for there to be an afterlife. So there are 3 components there that are not shown in these diagrams. So here then is the definitive Pascal's wager. So we have Pascal's wager redux. And here in the first column, you'll see letters, and I'll explain each. And then you see on the left side, you see 2 other letters. So G is God, A is afterlife, and C is care. So if there's a God and an afterlife, and if God cares, then that's what that one represents. So B equals believe, and D equals don't believe. So if there's a God and an afterlife and it cares and you believe, green is good, great. But if you don't believe, bad, red. But if there's a God and an afterlife, but not that he doesn't care, that's negative C. So God doesn't care if you believe or don't believe, then whether you believe or you don't believe is equal. If God exists, but there's no afterlife and God cares, doesn't matter if you believe or disbelieve in God, this result's the same, no afterlife. And the same if there's a God and no afterlife and God doesn't care, still doesn't matter because you wind up with the same result. But we're being honest with our truth table here, which is what this is. And so we have to have both conditions, even though they turn out to be the same. If there isn't a God, but there is an afterlife, well, obviously we can't have caring in there because there's nothing to care. But if there's an afterlife, then whether you believe or don't believe in God is irrelevant. There's just an afterlife. That's it. If there is no God and no afterlife, then whether you believe or not doesn't matter. And if there is a God and an afterlife, but this S stands for skeptic. It is the God of the skeptics. God only rewards those who don't believe in it. If that God exists, then believing would lead to a negative result, but not believing would result in a positive result. So you can, if you add up all the greens, you have 3 in the believe and 3 in the not believing, which means you have about a 50-50 chance, not a 1 in 3 chance. So to wash, Pascal's wager, when done correctly, leaves you right back where you started in regards to being able to determine whether or not you should believe based on nothing more than pure luck. Flip a coin, and that's it. But we shouldn't use Pascal's wager at all. Not only because it's flawed, but because it doesn't guarantee us a true outcome. It is based largely on numerous assumptions and ultimately an appeal to consequence and an appeal to fear and an appeal to bribery. None of these are good logical reasons to believe or not believe. But next time somebody offers the Pascal's wager, you can just direct them to this video and say, yeah, well, it's just a 50-50 shot. I'll take my chances. Thanks for watching.